and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome.
Ever had a dream that felt so real you thought you were awake? I like seeing patterns in everyday routines.
A lot of metal in the air today, people.
For me, it's a game to find order in the chaos.
Dylan.
What?
You didn't hold him?
GA 950, punch it.
The other day at work, something happened.
That was my flight.
I nearly killed 900 people.
No. You saved me. I know we only just met, but doesn't it
Feel like we've known each other forever?
can't stop smiling from ear to ear?
That's the third day in a row. This is gonna sound ridiculous. I keep seeing the same people. It's all part of some kind of pattern.
What's really going on?
Things are happening to me that cannot possibly be explained. Exactly 2:22. Boom.
He sees them. He sees the pattern.
Everything, it's all connected.
Your patterns don't mean anything.
Stop it right there! People are gonna die. What are you doing?
We need to end this now.
Now, the reason I put that clip in there at the very beginning is because this person in the comments put down 222 as a 2017 science fiction thriller film, right, that you just watched. The film was released June 30th. What's June 30th? What is June 30th? June 30th is 6-3-3-6, or 3-6 connection. And when's 3-6? On 5-14, right? And we'll get to that later. But 6-3, 5-14, but that's that 222 movie. And then check out this other comment. This one by Artisan. Haliafont re-uploaded iPad Go 2 February 5th, 2024. February 5th, 2024 is, look at this, it's 42225, backward. They're all about going backward. Unreal. And then look at this at the bottom. From Trump's birthday to April 22nd, 28802. And what is Trump's text? 88022. Right here. And when did he post this? On April 30th. And we know zero is not a number. What happened April 3rd? The start of the Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah. When did the market collapse? Exactly on April 3rd, right? The market started collapsing. He made the announcement on the night of April 2nd. The market opened April 3rd and it starts collapsing. April 3rd. So what was that? Nissan 5. And we go to the Nissan 5, right? What was that date? On September 5th. Two calendars 6 months apart. So if we go to the beginning, Nissan 5, exactly that day. Nissan 5, Nissan means 1 and 7. Rosh Hashanah, April 3rd. And now, let's check out that little trailer of that movie. We decode that little trailer. Watch this. If you saw that trailer at the beginning there, what did that say in the clock? April 3rd, Rosh Hashanah. Why is that movie 222? But everything in that movie is April. You know why. You know why. Because April is the second month on the Roman calendar. I showed in the last video. Just Google the meaning of April. It's the second month. and 222 is April 22nd. April 3rd was the exact start of the market collapse. It was the start of Rosh Hashanah. What else is in there? April 14th. What is April 14th? Well, if you watched that last video, I said, man, April 9th, I literally said in that last video, April 9th, I'm like, I think Yom Kippur, because the sell on Rosh Hashanah, buying Yom Kippur. That's the Wall Street adage. Go watch the last video. So I said in that last video, I said April 9th, I don't know the exact date, but April 9th or April 14th, around this 14th, 15th day, the market should juice, right? And what happened exactly on April 9th? A massive, massive green candle. Exactly on April 9th, right there, April 9th, the market literally, the biggest, baddest market juice event in 5+ years on that exact day, April 9th. Why April 9th? Because April 9th was the exact 10, right? Why is 10 important? Because the 10th day, the reason I said April 9th, something's going down, the market's going to juice April 9th, I said it's going to juice exactly on April 9th. The reason I said that, because that was a Yom Kippur connection. What is the next Yom Kippur connection? The 14th. Why? Because if you go to our September calendar in 2024, the market exactly juiced. I mean, the Yom Kippur on this date is exactly on the 14th. If they are going to crash the market on Rosh Hashanah on September 5th, when do you think they're going to juice the market? On the 14th or the 15th, right? The 14th or the 15th, they're going to juice the market. Unreal. So once again, April 3rd, Rosh Hashanah, April 14th, Yom Kippur. Let's see if we get a market juice. We need the market to sky high and the trade war to be over on the 14th with China. This is why they said we pause every country. Every country is paused on April 9th except for China, and the market juiced. And they waited for China until that date, April 14th, all perfectly scripted to the max. All right. What else is in that? What does it say here during that movie? 523. And we know what month are we in? We're in July, right? Month 7. We're in Nissan. And that's why I showed in the prior video, we're in month 5. 523. Exactly. And there's your 714 we just talked about. Nissan 14. The siren. Boom. And what does this say? This literally says 423. April 23rd and 522. When is 522? 522 is exactly on that day, on our day, April 22nd, because as you saw, July means 5, right? We're in month 7. This is why Morgan Freeman got sanctioned exactly on 522. They said if your arc is not done by midday September 22nd, you will be. July means 5. That's how they hide it from the monkey asses, right? And that's why that you see the Rapture video retards choosing every single day for the past 3 months. They have no clue. Right, they had no clue about March 28th, something about 77, like it showed on the Blondie calendar, exactly on March 28th, the 7/7 earthquake. Day before that, February 26th, something with a goat and a dog, and exactly that day, Gene Hackman dies and his dog dies. Every headline is Gene Hackman and his dog. Who cares about the dog? But they made sure to let you know his dog, fake sacrifice dog, okay? And he was the goat. And what happened before that? The day before that was January 29th. It was the 28th, and an eagle burning and something about May Day and an American eagle crash. These calendars do not miss is the point. They don't miss. And he writes down 222, boom shakalaka. And if you study the Jewish religion, you would know the last day of the year is not Elul 29. It's actually, this is the 10 days of awe, right? So this is the warning. The trumpet blows on this day. The trumpet blows, and then you get to Yom Kippur. This is the day that judgment is sealed, and this is the day judgment is delivered. This is why Israel got attacked on October 7, 2023. It was the 22nd day of Tishri, and they said they'll do October 7th over and over again. What is the final 22 on the board in the first month? Well, obviously the final 22 on the board in the first month is right here on April 22nd. There is no other day. And what is April 22nd on the Torah? It's the 23rd. Why is the 23rd important on a Tuesday? Because the Black Eyed Peas have that exact date circled. What are the damn odds? Why would the Rapture video retards choose any other day except the day they give you? Because that's why we call them complete damn retards, imbeciles. That's why they get everyone riled up. When the market was crashing, what did I say? They said the market is going to juice. There's no crash. The market is going to juice back up. It's going to happen on either April 9th or around the 14th or 15th. And the market exactly on April 9th juice back up. They're not going to pull this thing while everyone's short the market and can make money. They're going to crush the shorts, and they're going to skyrocket the market. And then on the 22nd, pull this puppy with an Iran nuke. And nightmare before Christmas, right? Because Christmas was on what day? Christmas was on the 24th, right? Let's go to Christmas, month 10. If we go to month 10, zero's not a number. Christmas was right here on 122. Exactly our date, April 22nd, right? When Nissan 22, because zero's not a number. Christmas at ground zero. And on this calendar, because it was a leap year, the 24th, 9/24, 3/24. What does Kislev mean? Kislev means 3 and 9. And what month are we in on the Chinese calendar? See, because March is traditionally the first month, and because we were in a leap year, April 22nd, exactly March 24th, right there. And that's why April is traditionally the second month, except we just ended a leap year, so we're in Nissan. So we're in month 1 and month 2. This is why February made me shiver with every paper I delivered. We are in month 2. In the earliest Roman calendar, April was the second month. That's why they gave you the 222. And here's a Canadian movie called 222 that came out in 2008. What is this movie about? Well, when did this movie come out? Let me guess. Oh, magically, September 24th. Are you kidding me? September 24th. What is the date on April 22nd? Nissan means 7/7/24, the exact day, September 24th. And what are the odds? The date is 222. Come on, guys. Come on. And what is this movie about? New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve. A high-class hotel on New Year's Eve, exactly at 222. Give me a break. And what else? Room 222, when did that come out? On September 11th in 1969. Come on now. Come on. If you choose any other day, punch yourself in the face, literally hard. Punch yourself hard in the face. There is no other day you can choose because you got to go with the 222. That's why the Fletch Tards and the Aquavivas have the 222, but they can't simply use Google and figure out that April is the second month. That's their issues. They have many of other issues, but that's one of their many issues. They show you they're choosing every single date using strong concordance and the rest of that gibberish nonsense. And China officials troll Trump over tariffs, right? Look at this, 77, and look at that timestamp, 5/17. And exactly 7 years and 7 months to the day from the beginning of the Revelation 12 sign, which started, it was September 23rd in most of the world. On the night of September 22nd, September 23rd, exactly 7/7. Right there. That's why they put the 77 there. That's why Blondie shows the 77. That's why March 28th was so off the charts, and you had a 7/7 earthquake. Exactly 7 months and 7 days from the Revelation 12 sign on September 23rd, 2017. Give me a break. And it's exactly 1 days of the year. January 1st, April 22nd, 111 days. What was September 11th, 2001? The date leaving 111 days. Come on, an exact mirror. That's why they're using the Nissan calendar. That's why they're using September 2024. The precise date, September 2024. That's the month they're precisely using, as you can clearly tell, right? Clearly tell. And this is why they always give the 222 right there. There is no other day. The black eyed peas with the X through it. How do you choose any other day? If something happens, it happens, but how do you choose any other day besides April 22nd? After March 28th, it said April 22nd, no other day they show you besides that day. And it's Shemnia's rot, the exact day Israel got attacked. Come on. And what did The Simpsons show you? 5/18 and 3/15. And what day is 5/18? Right? July means 5. Google it. July means 5. There's 5/18. And what is that day? 7/24. Do you understand how they have to use a little bit of brains? Not like the Rapture video retards where they show you 5/18 and they start looking at May 18th like a bunch of degenerates. Okay? So what is that day? 5/18 says July 24th. There it is. 7/24. Nissan 24. That's why we're able to hit so many dates, so many rituals over and over and over again. It's these damn calendars. What are the odds? Exactly on the 9th, a juice, I said in the last video, and let's say if we get a massive juice on the 14th or 15th this week, and if the trade is paused, and if it is, you know they're using that calendar. You know they're using that. Absolutely, they're using that September calendar. And why, if they're using that September calendar, why were you looking at the 22nd? Well, you have to look at the 22nd. If it's not the 22nd, you obviously look at the 24th, right? But either way, you have to look at the 22nd, is what you have to look at. But it's right here is where they show everything. And this is the date you have to choose unless you're a Jesuit. And like I showed in the last video, 5/17 World War III, exactly in 5/17. When is 5/17? July means 5. If you go to July 7, if you go to the 5/17 on the Torah calendar, you'll see it's exactly the date 7/24 again. All of it, World War III, right there. But why did I bring that up? Because January, the month January 17th is the day of judgment, right? What month on the Torah calendar is January? It's month 11. And month 5, Jew calendar is 6 months apart. Now you know they're clearly using a mirror, unless you're a complete imbecile. So they're completely using a mirror calendar is what they're using. So January 17th is Torah month 11 and 5, 5/17. Why is that important? It's the International Day of Judgment, 11/17 and 5/17, right? And when is 5/17? I just showed you July 24th, but look at this. All right, where did the market bounce from? The market load, it crashed on April 3rd, went all the way down from April 3rd, right? April 3rd when Trump came out, it went down and it bounced exactly on April 7th. April 7th is when it bounced right there, right? And then you got the big green candle on April 9th, but the very bottom was April 7th. Look at that number, 40235, 402.35 on the triple Qs. Let's go backwards and let's see the last time that it happened at exactly 402.35. Keep going. Let's go. Nope. Oh, there it is. There's a candle. That's the exact day it bounced. 402.35 on the to the penny, right? Look at that date down there, January 17th. How damn scripted. It has never touched 402.35 since January 17th. And the very next time it touched it was exactly on the bounce on this current crash on April 7th. And it bounced higher. And where do you think it's going to go? Well, if you look at the Fibonacci right here, from the high to the low, look where it exactly hit on that juice before it crashed, the 61 Fibonacci, and look where it's at. It closed on Friday, exactly the 38 Fibonacci. Where do you think it goes? It goes at least to 491 when China pauses, right? When China pauses, and it probably goes much higher, probably to all-time highs eventually before we get to our date. But it's definitely going to go to the 61 Fibonacci level, right? And look where it stopped, exactly at the 38 Fibonacci. Come on, dude. This is completely scripted, set up, and the rest of it. And when does World War III start? Exactly with Iran on 5/6. 5/6. And what are sixes? Nines. 5/9. And when is 5/9? Obviously, it's April 9th. That's how they hide it, because we're in Nissan. I keep saying Nissan means 1 and 7, and July is 7, right? And July means 5. There's your 5/9. April 9th, the start of World War III. April 9th. But what's the Julian of that day? Exactly 13 days later. 13 days later is exactly this date, April 22nd. This is what they're telling you. And now look, what month are we in? We're in April, and April, like I just showed, means 2/9. What was 2/9? The Super Bowl. And what happened at the Super Bowl at halftime? Right here, warning, game over. Warning, game over. Exactly on the Super Bowl, right there. And 2/9. And then what was April 9th? 2/9. And what did good old Ivanka Trump post, or whoever controls that account for Ivanka Trump? Game over. Exactly on April 9th. Give me a break, dude. Give me a break. And this is Central, so we put it in Eastern time. That's 12/5. 12/5. And what happened on December 5th? December 5th, what happened? The market closed at 666. Dude, game over. How easy is this? Way easier than gematria. Way easier than strong concordance. It's all you gotta do is look at a date. If you're looking for a date when nuclear war commences, you only look at a calendar. It's the only one that knew October 7, 2023, a month in advance, and then February 24th, 2022, weeks in advance. Not to impress you, but that you only look at calendars. You don't look at other nonsense gibberish. Come on, man. And what are the odds? This little finger points to 118, right? And when does that caption? April 9th. April 9th, 13 days later, is what day? April 22nd. Well, what's 118? 118. And what is this? Oh, thank goodness that 118 today, Donald Trump juiced the market exactly at 118. What is this? All this 118 nonsense? If you remember that Gilbert Gottfried, that the Golden Gate Bridge collapses on August 11th, 118, right there. What's all the 118? Why are they pointing to 118 and telling you exactly at 118? They're mocking the Goy boys. They're mocking the fletchtards of our world. This is why you should dig. You should call 118, call July, Julie, right? July, what month are we in? We're in month 7, July. Beware of the ones who call themselves Jews but are not and lie. 118. What is all this 118? Well, obviously would not know what 118 is unless you look at a calendar. You can't look at strong concordance or the moon or the dirt or your hands or your feet. You got to look at the damn calendar. 7 minus 6 is 1. Let's go to 118. What is that day? Oh, magically, September 22nd. And what is the date on April 22nd? Exactly, September 22nd. And what is that day? That day, right, is exactly on September 22nd. I mean, on April 22nd, the date right here is still April 21st, 4/21. You see, 4/21, the 21st night of September doesn't end until midday on April 22nd. So what is that day? That's 4/21. And what is that day here? It's 1/24. And what's 4/21 and 1/24? The only mathematical problem that cannot be solved in the world. And you'll see it at the end. The 4/21 loop, known as the Collatz conjecture. The famous unsolved math problem goes like this, right? Even if it's an even number, divided by 2. If it's not a number, multiply by 3, then add 1. Very simple. No matter what number you start with, you'll always end up at 4/21 and repeat it forever. The 4/21 loop. Why is it famous? It's simple to explain, never proven, and mathematicians still don't know why it always reaches 1. The 4/21 loop. And once again, what does Nissan mean? Nissan means 1. There's 1/24 and there's 4/21. April 22nd is the Collatz conjecture, the 4/21 loop. On April 27th, April 22nd, the circle back day, April 22nd. And we just showed we're in March, right? If we're in Nissan, March is traditionally the first month unless in a leap year. So what is that day? 3/23, right? What's 13 days after March 11th, the pandemic started? What is 13 days later? 3/24, right here. This is why they circle back on you. On Nissan 24 is the circle back date of the pandemic. It's March 24th, like I just showed on the Chinese, because it's month 1, and minus 13, March 11th. This is March 11th, right here, the day it all burns down, right there. And evil will be resurrected on September 23rd. Sept 23rd. They hide it from the degenerate, and the degenerates have no idea that April 22nd is the last September 23rd on the calendar. It's actually the last September 22nd on the calendar. September 23rd could be the next day, what have you. But right there, September 23rd, right there. It's the week of April 22nd, the circle on the Black Eyed Peas calendar. And when did how much did Trump allegedly mistake or whatever on 4/6, 4/9. When is 4/9? April 9th. It's all April 9th. And what is that? 11/21. And when is 11/21? Right there. January means 11 and 5. 1/2/1. The exact date, April 21st, 1/2/1 on April 22nd. 13 days, Julian days after game over. Game is over, guys. And this BBC documentary, End Days, a 2005 docudrama produced by BBC, The End Days, depicts a set of 5 doomsday scenarios. And when did that release? Oh, magically, on 4/2/1. 4/2/1. You don't think they knew this date way in advance? Come on. And recording this on April 12th. What's April 12th? 10 days. 10 days. It's 13 right here. It's April 13th, right? Because it's the 13th on the Torah calendar today on April 12th. And what's 10 days later? The 23rd, April 22nd. And what are the odds? We'll look at that caption. Not only is it 725 on the timestamp, but the caption is March 6th. But what's 725? Christmas at ground zero. 725, right? 725, Christmas in damn July. Christmas in July, right here. And what's March 6th? March 6th is 3/9. 6s are 9s. 3/9, the exact day. 3/9, yeah, 13 days to it. That's why the Super Bowl and Ivanka both said game over on the exact day. 3/9, at 13 days to that, and you get to our date, 3/2/2. Skull and damn bones. 3/2/2, 3/2/3, and 3/2/4. This is why they gave you the March 6th. And they'd say that Dow jumped 600 points. That was on Friday. But look, with the caption, April 9th. It all goes down. This is why they gave you J6 ad nauseum. Do you understand? 1/6 is 1/9. J6, the day of Yom Kippur on our calendar. And the next Yom Kippur, that's why they saved China. The next Yom Kippur is April 14th. Sell on Rosh Hashanah, buy Yom Kippur. The market is going to juice, and all the degenerates are going to see. They're not going to pull it when the market is still in fear mode. Guys, wake up. Smell the damn rituals. It's all about these calendars. That's why it hits over and over again. And what happened April 9th? Like I keep saying, that juice happened, right? Exactly on that Nissan 10 day connection to Yom Kippur, buying Yom Kippur. And what is that pattern? That's a bullish flag pattern, right? A bullish flag. So I drew this bullish flag, and then on Friday, it broke out of the bullish flag pattern. What happens? Look, this is a bullish flag right here, the exact bullish flag pattern. And what happened? It broke out. It broke out right there, the bullish flag pattern. And if you hear in the news or whatever, they're saying the dollar is collapsing. What happens? The dollar is completely collapsing. But when the market goes down, the dollar is supposed to go up because people hit the sell button and they go into dollars. So every time in American history, whenever the market goes down, the dollar goes up. But this time, the dollar is going down. And rates are supposed to go down. But look at the rates. They're skyrocketing. The system is completely broken. Getting ready for the Great 8 Day on April 22nd after midday. If it's not the 22nd, then we look at the 25th. But the 22nd is the day. There is no other day but they show you except for the 22nd. April 22nd. And if they're using the September calendar from 2024, then we obviously wait a few days till the 25th. But April 22nd, Earth Day, is coded off the damn charts. And if you don't think they're mocking you with the stock market, think again. They're talking about the Donald Trump stock, the DJT stock, his media company. Stock fell to $16.69 a minute. His post to buy shares has since soared to 2040, which marks a jump of, 222. In your face. Come on, guys. If you poured 1,000 in the stock in a minute of Trump post, you could have 1222. Oh, dude, stop it. And what's that say? The dot-com bust of 1987 crash had massive relief rally similar to Wednesday's pop, right? Oh, and the 724 timestamp. But 1987, why are they pointing us to 1987? Let's look. When was Black Monday? October 19th, 1987. What are 6s? 6s are 9s. So October 19th, 1987 was Black Monday. What was October 16th? Oh, magically, it was Shimshat Torah. It was damn Shimshat Torah. 1, 2, 3, the exact date on April 22nd. Guys, Tishri means 1 and 7. Nisan means 1 and 7. The Black Monday 1987 was exactly this day, right here, Tishri 23. When did 9/11 occur? In 2001. When did 9/11 occur? Let's see, 9/11, 2001. Let's see when that was. That was on, magically, Elul 23. Elul 23. September 11th, Elul 23. When do you think the Jewish temples are going to burn? Exactly on this day. September means, obviously, 9, Sept, 7, 723. That's how they hide it. The Jew temples are going to burn on the same exact day. Babylon, New York is going to get nuked exactly on the same exact day. It can only be on the 23rd. On the 23rd, which is April 22nd, after midday. Right in your face, Olas.
This is the most dangerous problem in mathematics, one that young mathematicians are warned not to waste their time on. It's a simple conjecture that not even the world's best mathematicians have been able to solve. Paul Erdős, a famous mathematician, said, "Mathematics is not yet ripe enough for such questions." Here's how it works. Pick a number, any number. 7? Good choice. Okay, we're going to apply 2 rules. If the number is odd, we multiply by 3 and add 1. So 3 times 7 is 21, plus 1 is 22. If the number is even, we divide by 2. So 22 divided by 2 is 11. Now we keep applying these 2 rules. 11 is odd, so we multiply by 3, 33, and add 1, 34. Even, divide by 2, 17. Odd. Multiply by 3, 51, add 1, 52. Even, divide by 2, 26. Still even. Divide by 2, 13. Odd. So we multiply by 3, 39, add 1, and that's 40, which is even. So we divide by 2, 20, divide by 2, 10, divide by 2, 5. Odd. Multiply by 3, 15, add 1, 16, divide by 2, that's 8, and then 4, 2, and 1. Now 1 is odd, so we multiply by 3 and add 1, which equals 4. But 4 goes to 2 goes to 1, so we're in a loop, and the lowest number is 1. Now the conjecture is this. Every positive integer, if you apply these rules, will eventually end up in the 4-2-1 loop. This is commonly called the Collatz conjecture after German mathematician Lothar Collatz, who may have come up with it in the 1930s. But the problem has many origin stories and many names. It's also known as the Ulam conjecture, Kakutani's problem, Thwaites conjecture, Haas's algorithm, the Syracuse problem, and simply 3n plus 1.
Why is 3x plus 1 so famous?
Among professional mathematicians, maybe it's not famous but infamous, in the sense that if someone actually admits in public that they're working on it, then there's something wrong with them.
Jeffrey Ligarius is the world authority on 3x plus 1.
The first time I met him, I was a senior in college, and he pulled me aside and he said, "Don't do this. Don't work on this problem. If you want to have a career, do not start spending time writing about this or publishing any papers about this. Do real math for a while to establish yourself."
Alex Kontorovich didn't listen. He and Yakov Sinai looked at the paths of the hailstone numbers. Were there any patterns? Well, obviously all of them end up at 1, but what about the paths they take to get there? The pattern is randomness. Here is the sequence of a large number chosen at random. The graph peaks and then drops so low that you can't really see what's happening at this scale. But if you take the logarithm, you find this wiggly graph with a downward trend. It looks kind of like the stock market on a bad day. And this is no coincidence. Both are examples of geometric Brownian motion. That means if you take the log and remove the linear trend, the fluctuations are random. It's like flipping a coin each step. If the coin is heads, the line goes up. Tails, it goes down. 3x plus 1 is just like the random wiggles of the stock market. Over long enough periods, the stock market tends to trend upwards, while 3x plus 1 trends down. One way to visualize these paths of numbers in 3x plus 1 is simply to show how each number connects to the next one in its sequence. This is called a directed graph. It looks like a tree, or a series of little streams that flow into each other. If the conjecture is true, it means that every single number is connected to this graph. Every tiny stream all the way out to infinity eventually flows into the massive river of 4, 2, 1. Some mathematicians have modified this visualization by rotating the graph at each number, anti-clockwise if it's an odd number, and clockwise if it's even. And then you end up with a structure that looks like a coral or seaweed. And by adjusting the degree of rotation for odd and even numbers, you can create these beautiful, organic-looking shapes. And not for lack of trying. Mathematicians have tested by brute force every single number up to 2 to the 68. That's 295 quintillion, 147 quadrillion, 905 trillion, 179 billion, 352 million, 825,856 numbers. We know for certain that every single one of those numbers eventually comes back down to 1. We have tested nearly 300 quintillion numbers, and none of them disproves the conjecture.
You're going to be taught in school that we know a bunch of stuff, and it's a lie. They're all lies. Here's this stupid little problem. Come on. Really? We can't solve this? Really? If anything, it shows that all of the things that we can solve are miracles.
Anything variable, so no matter what Satan plans, anything, this equation states mathematically God wins.